So in the previous video, we stopped when we had VNC and RDP that say, hey, we're good, we'll work, but we require a certificate. So now I'm going to show this is an attempt of connecting with remote desktop. And before I accept any certificate, and it's with Remina, and Remina doesn't work very well for what I'm going to illustrate, but I'm going to illustrate it very soon with several mechanisms. I'm going to actually show here how to make Weston standalone VNC and RDP servers inside the Yocto project or any Linux distro or any chroot. Only that this time I'm going to show the rationale so that it will help you to troubleshoot. Perhaps in another video I will show some troubleshooting things as well. Now, we did not have certificate in the previous video, so what we need to do is to create a certificate, and we can see here that when I connect, the target, that is our server, has the following certificate. I just checked it with another certificate prior to starting the record, because otherwise we do not see like the certificate changes. And I made some scripts so that the video will be short and reproducible. And if it interests anyone, I will put it in GitHub or something. But check it out. So here we have like a certificate exchange. It has a subject, an amazing embedded Weston device, which is what our server. And it has the issuer, which is a certificate authority. Okay. The previous one had fingerprint. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. And then it's going to say, hey, accept change certificate. And I can say yes, I can say no, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'm actually going to just leave it. And I'm going to tell you about like the certificate creation and what was going on here. So before we do anything, basically our tree structure of the files will look something like that. What we need on the device would only be, sorry, everything under public, which is a TLS key.OpenSSH, which is a private key, and TLS cert. We don't really need the CA cert. Okay, we only need the CA cert is nice to have. We can provide it, but we don't necessarily need it. And we need to somehow get it on the device and provide it to VNC. So I will start actually with the end and with the command line that I was running on the target itself. Now let's see how that looks like. So I have this thing, arrange target files that I made. I'll just open it as read only. And essentially what I'm doing is the following. I will be running a file that does this. It's called vnc.sh, and it will do a substitute user. It can be either Weston or root, but it's very important that you have this XDG runtime existing when you want to run, okay? So it will be like run user 1000 or 0. It doesn't really matter what it is. We already saw XDG runtime here. But it needs to exist, okay, and have the correct permission. And we're going to run the user bin Weston. -b is like -- backend. RDP, VNC means we're going to support both of them in parallel. This will not work for every Weston version. For a later version, you would need to run something like this script twice. And the command will be providing VNC TLS cert and VNC TLS key for the VNC and RDP TLS cert and RDP TLS key for the RDP. And this Weston user here is because we do an SU, okay? And the rest is like the command. So that's all we're going to run, and then automatically our target will be able to accept connections, okay? So this script is a convenient script that does this. And what I did also was to actually take certificates and a private key that I created and copy it to a target here that I later put on my target itself. These are the things that I've done, okay? So when I run this script, I actually see this is actually a good signal, could not load cursor, because then it says that everything works well. And when I try to connect, then it's going to say, hey, somebody connected to me. Now, what I'm going to show is how to make it in the quickest and hackiest way. We don't care about security really, okay? But the script that I did run here was this nice guy, VNC, and this would be my target environment under etc xdg Weston TLS stuff. Very important. The permission needs to be they need to be according to the user that actually needs to run it, which is Weston, which is also what I did like in this script. I changed mode and so on. So far so good. But what did I copy there? So here's the thing. Let's see. The creation of the certificates works as follows. We need to create a private key in order to have a certificate authority that we create. And then we self-sign it. It is, we don't use another certificate authority to create our own certificate, but we sign ourselves. We attest for ourselves. Now, in my courses, in our security courses, I talk a lot about public infrastructure, but the objective here is to just be concise and make things work and debuggable. So I'm just giving like the summary of how the things work here with respect to the files that we generate in this script. So we generate a key, which is a private key, RSA, and then we're going to create a certificate. Okay, the key, if it's private key, it's going to be used only like by us, okay, for signing things. Now for the target itself, we need to generate a TLS key that we provided with the VNC, with the Weston command. The same one is used for both VNC and RDP because we can. And we also need to provide a certificate. This is what we saw earlier. Hey, do you trust this certificate or not? Now, in order to generate a certificate, we need to issue something that is called certificate sign-in request. And we give it to a certificate authority, which is our certificate. It signs it and it gives us a certificate. And then if we trust the certificate authority, then we are fine working over TLS with the whatever our target TLS application or so will provide, which in this case could be or would be either VNC or RDP. So now let's look like at the script. They're all kind of like paths and so on. Everything they care about it, the copy to the device will be under public. Work is for interim certificate sign request, and private will be for the private like CA key. Okay. So the important thing here is that I have the names exactly as I explained before. And since it's not like a security class, we have entire courses for that. Then let's just concentrate on the commands themselves. So creating the key, it needs a key length. We put here 2048 bytes. We call OpenSSL, genRSA, dash out, and then the CA key and the length. Good. Now we actually do our own CSR, our own certificate signing request for ourselves. So we do here like OpenSSL request new X509, which is the format of the certificate. No deaths, don't ask for passwords. Days, essentially you could do your, I don't know, 100,000, but when you provide something like this to browsers, which is more than 1 year or so, and they will fail. So I just put it around 180 days. I give her the private key, and the output would be the certificate. Now, the certificate itself will have the organization unit and the CN, that is like this that we see here, okay? So basically, we do that, and we have our CA cert. Now, we want to have TLS for the VNC or the RDP. So we generate the key in a very similar way to the first key for our CA that we generated, same command. And then we issue a new certificate signing request for this certificate and key, okay? But we don't generate a certificate yet. We generate a CSR file. It doesn't interest anyone except for the certificate creation, which is why we put it here under work, okay? Under CA work there, not like under public or private. And then we gave it again like an O and CN, and this is what would show. So when we saw the first image, when I started the video, then we saw both the issuer and this is it. Oh, I think we saw the issuer, okay? We can use OpenSSL with dash in and do a dash text, and then it will tell us information about it, like when you click on the lock on the browser. Now, the last thing to do after having like this request is actually use it and create the certificate itself. It looks a lot, sorry, this is the certificate itself, the TLS certificate. So this looks a lot like the self-signing request, okay? Only that now we are just going to use the certificate. We have an issuer, we don't sign for ourselves, and we're good. So these two things are what we're going to provide our target with. Now, in our target, as I mentioned, I ran it, okay? And now I'm going to, just for fun, open another desktop client. Free. We can go ahead just for fun, also see 116, see what ports are open, and we can see here both VNC and this one, okay? And it also has, look at it, like we do like port knocking, and it also says, hey, system error set by peers, or so on and so forth, okay? Because the nmap sends some information over the port. So the error can be ignored. It's a way to see that somebody's scanning you, by the way, all right? So having said that, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Having said that, I'm going to use X3RDP. And it now tells me, hey, the certificate does not match, and so on. These are the previous details, okay? And these are the new details, which is just fine, okay? I just modified the organization. Maybe I changed a bit the name, maybe not. Yeah, I call it for like the content name. The pscg.com example or example cert. And I say, yeah, I trust it, we're good. So when I do that, it's going to print some things over there. And it doesn't look very, very, very amazing. We see like this half thing here because I think because we tried to connect to it with Romina before. But the important thing here, we see like the lock screen. It's actually interesting. So you can see it like shadowed here. So one of the really huge problems with okay, now we see everything. One of the huge problems here is that it's just that slow. Look, I'm moving the mouse and it hardly moves. Like with VNC, it would be much, much, much nicer. I'm moving the mouse and it's hardly moves. You can see like the cursor like on the screen. So in general, I really recommend against using RDP, although if you use it like locally, it will work just fine. So we do have display. I will lock the device actually in another way. So RDP works and we should be more or less happy. Now, why did I say that using Romina is a bad idea? Because when you work with it, unless you configure it, it will connect to ask you, hey, what are like your certificates and so on and so forth. Now it doesn't even connect. Maybe there's some network issue. No, they're not. And it will show you the screen like I'm going to charge it will show it to you for like a second maybe, and then it will disconnect all the time, which is super, super, super annoying. Okay. So there it is, unlock your desktop, and then we'll say retrying, retrying, retrying. Okay. So it's annoying. Reconnection attempt. These are like the kind of things that you see. So it's annoying and it will do that like all the time. So I'm closing. This is why I use like X3 RDP. Okay. So this was one example. The network disconnected here. There were this, there were that. And if I like click it, if I manage to click it correctly, then we will see actually the display. Now note, this has nothing to do with, maybe I did not click correctly. This has nothing to do with, this is so annoying, it's unbelievable. And it's so, so, so slow. With VNC it will be much better. This has nothing to do with the KMS, with the KMS backend. Okay, here it is. Open it twice. Because I just opened it directly. We'll talk about screen shares later. So it works, it's super slow, it's terrible. It is terrible. Like I'm trying to type here, it doesn't even appear yet. It's terrible, 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 terrible. But it works. Like for showing some graphics if you're interested in it, it works. So command not found, oh thank you, how generous of you. I'm typing, okay, it's reasonable. I'm doing enter, but it's very, very, very slow. Let's see. Run, MUNITZ, and look, it types for several things. It's just not good, okay? So I'm going to get rid of it, thank you. And I'm now going to use a VNC as well. So I'm going to do Xtiger VNC viewer. It's tiny, but it says 192, blah, 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 blah. And again, it says about a certificate. I'm going to say yes, I want to trust it. Here you can see like on the command line things. I'm going to say yes here. And then it will ask for login. Now, I'm not sure how to work around it. So before I started recording the video, I just set like I did the password to the Weston user and gave it password as well. So if I do here, okay, again, we have like VNC, we can change the resolution, we can do a lot of things, but this is much more reasonable, okay? Here we can see that the working directory is where we started from, and we have like the certificate and everything is fine. And maybe there is OpenSSL here. No, there isn't. That's fine. So we can see all these kind of things. We can do Weston flower, and we'll see the flower here, and we can move it, and then we can be happy. So if we manage to do it here, after providing the certificates, then we can also have something that works with the KMS, okay? With the DRM. It's called the DRM backend. And this I will do later, and I will start how to do like all kind of screen shares. Okay. So this is very nice because even if you don't have like a display hardware at all, if you run like inside chroot and you want to work like with Weston, then you can just set like a VNC backend or an RDP backend and be very happy with it. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty fun. And maybe I also do it like locally, but I just really need to go. I've been called like 5 times during this video. So I hope it went well and we achieved this goal of having like VNC. That's pretty good. That's really good. We should be happy about it. Okay. The problem is that like the screen itself, it's still like it could be better. Okay. I mean, we need to configure the fonts to be like much better. So now I made it like a little bit bigger, but it's still not very, very amazing. Okay. So let's go and do Weston, I don't know. And there's something that require like OpenGL. So they will use, let's do simply GL. So they will use like some software rendering. They will see like the triangle. All right. And yeah, so actually, sorry, I was going to show it first like on my own computer. This has OpenGL because it runs like on the target. It's going to do something true. So I really gotta go. I hope it's useful because I don't have patience to record it again. Thank you. Bye bye.